welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Lauren, and today we are doing the most surprising and the most disappointing reads of 2023. This is going to be a really speedy video. I've got places to be, things to get done. It is so close to Christmas, but I want to make sure that I get this video out tonight to you guys, so I am hustling big time to get this done. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna read off my phone. I'm not gonna try and pretend like I'm not. There are some fun books in here. I have 9 surprising and 9 disappointing, and I'm just gonna go back and forth. So let's do that. Let's start on a positive note. Let's start with The Sweet Verse by Catherine Moon. I adored this book so much. This series so much. I never expected to really love Omegaverse as much as I do. I really enjoy it for a spicy, fun time. There is something about the way that she writes that is just so incredibly addictive. Her characters have depth. There is some fun times. I definitely preferred Lola and the Millionaires to Baby and the Late Night Howlers. That being said, I really did enjoy Baby and the Late Night Howlers. There was no major complaints. My only complaint with that book is because it was an MC gang, everyone has 2 names. And because there were so many people in this pack and in this MC gang, I was getting confused about who was who and getting lost. So that was probably my only major complaint. But other than that, I really enjoyed them. Baby and the Late Night Howlers is someone who Baby always thought she was a beta, and now she's an Omega, needs to find a pack. She gets set up with this pack. The pack has this beta that she was really attracted to his scent and to his alpha's scent, so that's why she picked them in the end. And Lola is quite an emotional read. She's been through a tragic sort of quite tumultuous ordeal, and now she's fallen in with this billionaire all men pack. She's a beta, and they already have an Omega who was also a male, so it's a good time. I really enjoyed it. A disappointing read is not one that I wanted to count as disappointing, because I still gave it 3 stars, but I was disappointed because everyone loved it so much. But that is Consider Me by Becca Mack. And the reason that this is disappointing is because I think it's incredibly too long. There were so many elements, and I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. This is a hockey romance. It is like a guy falls first, he's obsessed with her, reformed playboy, but he was just obnoxious and so immature. I've never met anyone like that. He thought that they were acting like they were soulmates because they both loved Oreos. The conflict was ridiculous. And there was constantly harped on about the fact that she was small and short. It was literally told to me every second page, and I'm like, I know that she's small and he's a big boy. I don't need to be told again and again and again. So that was really my major complaint with that. And then the epilogue, he does something and I'm like, bro, that is really wrong of you as a partner. So gets 3 stars. It was disappointing. My next surprising book is Those 3 Little Words by Megan Quinn. Now, this is a 4-star, not a 5-star, but I was really surprised that I loved it so much because it is accidental pregnancy. And I am a girlie that before this year and before this book, I did not like accidental pregnancy. I found it so annoying. I felt it like it was a lazy plot device and just not good storytelling. But this one was good. Combined with the brother's best friend / teammate, it was perfection. This is Penny and what is his name? I forgot his name. It really doesn't freaking matter. They have a one-night stand. She has the biggest crush on him, and it's so good. So good. Megan Quinn's books aren't overly like thought-provoking or like complex, but she really writes entertaining stories. They're very funny, very lighthearted, and great for like just throwing it out there and just having a really easy read. Next disappointing read is Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. Now, this book had so much potential and so much that could have been done with this book that could have made it really great, but it felt completely flat. It was so underdeveloped and so just like not thought through. The fact that the FMC remained a virgin for like 15 something years because she had a crush on this guy that didn't even know she was existed felt really ridiculous. And there were so many elements that were put in there that just were never used. This is a secret admirer, secret letter story, and I don't know what Tessa Bailey was doing here, but I haven't picked up a Tessa Bailey book since, and I'm too afraid to because this one was a major letdown. I think in the end I gave it a 2 star. I think I started at a 3, and then I ended up dropping it to about a 2 because I was really disappointed. Then we have The Ritual by Chantal Tessier. This is a dark romance, and I'm not the biggest dark romance girly. This is a secret society of rich kids that all attend the same university. They have arranged marriages and chosens, and they do bad things. This book was so great. Riot and Blakely do not like each other. Well, she doesn't like him and he's obsessed with her. They ended up getting an arranged marriage, and I love Riot because he really lets her explore her sexuality and her sexual desires in a really, really positive way. While this is a dark romance and he's like a scary, bad individual, he really looks after his girl, and it is fantastic. The plot was great, the spice was great. Chantal Tessier does this great thing of like 50% plot, 50% spice, and it is fantastic. There is no issues with the way that she writes. They're so addictive, so fantastic. The next disappointing read is Things We Hide from the Light by Lucy Score. Lucy Score is definitely not the author for me. I might try Things, what is it called? Things We Left Behind, but I don't know if I will rush to get to it. She writes incredibly long books. Her characters are all like late 30s, early 40s, and they behave like absolute children. It doesn't make sense to me. This book had no like plot, no nothing. Yeah, I was just not entertained and not amused, even in the slightest. The plot of like what the FMC does was just strange. Next surprising book is Dirty Curve. I read Say You Swear and I enjoyed it. It was good, but Dirty Curve had me gripped from start to finish. I finished it in about 24 hours and I could not put it down. I abandoned all my responsibilities and just kept reading. This is a single mum tutoring college baseball romance, and we don't know who the baby's father is. The MMC is like this broody man who just like thinks the world revolves around him, and he just softens in such a beautiful way to support the FMC. I loved it. Epilogue was beautiful. It was so good. The reveals that happen, I was so shocked. Next on disappointing is Credence by Penelope Douglas. I'm not gonna talk about this too much because everybody knows this book, but this book, the ending was shit. I was okay with all the spies, I was having a good time, but the ending shouldn't have ended like that. She should have ended up with nobody. And that's all I'm gonna say on the topic. Next is Praise by Sarah Kate. I didn't expect to give a sex club, kinky book a 5 stars. This is ex-boyfriend's dad. He is a pleasure dom, a praise dom, pleasure dom, one or the other. And I think he's a praise dom. And she needs money, so she ends up working for him as his assistant. And she ends up being quite attracted to him. So they start doing things. Obviously the plot was quite convenient, but I still really, really had a good time and binged it quite quickly. So I was quite surprised about how much I enjoyed that book. So my next disappointment of the year is Radiant Sin by Katie Robert. I had high hopes, and the problem is a lot of these disappointments happened really early in the year, so I've like forgotten a lot of details. But anyway, it's fine because the second half of the year I just stuck to what I know. So I don't have a lot of disappointments and surprises in the second half of the year, so my memory is like blanking because I just read Small Town Romance and was happy. But anyway, Radiant Sin is a workplace romance. It's an MF book. Plot was a little bit far-fetched. I really wasn't buying the relationship. It is just not for me. It was just boring. I was bored. I was like, bro, I'm really not invested in their relationship or in their sexual development as a couple, which is why I read Katie Robert. So, oh well, it is what it is. My next surprise is Mafia Mistress by Mila Finelli. I really binged this book. This series, I loved them. They are very dark. All of them are enemies to lovers. Not overly dark, but they're all enemies to lovers. This is like arranged marriage with a guy, but then you end up sleeping with the dad and you end up pregnant with the dad. The plot was so fascinating. This is like a duet, but I was so into this book. Loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. And again, it was another accidental pregnancy that I wasn't really expecting to love. The way like the MMC is very much broody, not interested, but like is really attracted to her, but pretending like he's not into her. The next disappointment is, I'm gonna say Perfect Strangers, because, not because it's a bad book, but because I could not rate it. I didn't know how to feel. I sat back and I'm like, I don't hate it and I don't love it. This is a strange book. Felicia said that she felt like disrespected as a reader, which I totally understand, but it is a very divisive book and I didn't feel one way or the other. I was like, okay, whatever. I was really interested in like what was happening, and then it just was like plot twist and then another plot twist, and then basically the epilogue was another plot twist. So I was like, I don't know, I didn't know what I signed up for, and I was kind of just like, I really wanted to fit in one camp, but I don't. My next series surprise is IPB. Ice Planet Barbarians had me at the throat for like a good 2 months. I did about 9 of them quite quickly, all on audio. I really love it because it's on Audible Plus, so it's just really easy. I do really enjoy these books via audio because they're just good to sort of put in as palate cleansers and have a nice fun smutty time. I don't think I could sit there and actually read these books. I think I would just get a bit bored, but I really enjoy the voice acting, which is what makes these books so enjoyable. So that's on my list as a surprising thing. Never thought I would be reading about blue aliens and their spurs, but hey, they're fun. My next disappointment, and probably my most heartbreaking disappointment, is The Game Plan by Macaulay Smelter. I love Macaulay Smelter, but this book was really not it. I ended up DNFing it. I was so disappointed. It is a sort of fake dating trope, which I love, but the FMC was quite painful. She's not like other girls. She was very judgy, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all, even remotely. My next surprise is Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of being in love. I loved this. I think I gave it a 4 or 4.5. It is a very long book. I think I was not overly interested in the plot, and I know people love the plot, but I wasn't really overly interested. I just wanted more of the funny relationship moments. It is very slow burn, but I do not mind a slow burn. This is a Dramani fan fiction, obviously, and he's like sent to protect her because people are after her because of some of the things that she is working on. So many sweet, endearing moments, and it's probably a book that I would reread again and again and again because it was just so sweet. My second last disappointment is Dear Aaron by Mariana Zapata. I was having such a good time with this up until the last sort of maybe quarter. This is a slow burn. It's like a pen pal military romance, and which was all fine. It was just towards the end when he realized that she wasn't a virgin, he acted all weird, and it was never sort of explained whether he acted weird and was like weirded out by the fact that she wasn't a virgin and should have stayed a virgin until she was married, or whether it was the circumstances. It was a bit of a, like an open sort of thing, and I was like, what is he upset about? Because I'm like confused. So I wasn't impressed. I was a little bit disheartened. Will I continue reading Mariana Zapata though? Most definitely. I will definitely try her books, keep reading the books. I still have a few more on her backlog that I definitely want to get to. My last surprise was Until I Get You by Claire Contreras. It's a dark sort of romance. He's obsessed with her. He's basically like stalking her, tracking her down. Something happens when they're in college and she falls off the face of the earth, and he's now determined to get her back. He was so obsessed with her. I was so also like gripped by the plot and what was happening that I did not want to put it down. I highly recommend this book if you like a dark romance that isn't overly too dark and too heavy. This is definitely very fun. Again, the very sex positive and kink positive, like with The Ritual, which is probably why I really enjoyed it. But I will definitely be reading more of Claire Contreras when she puts out more books. So that's on the list of surprise, and my last surprise. And my last disappointment, and probably one of my bigger disappointments, but probably one that I shouldn't have been surprised by. It was Addicted After All by Krista Rebecca Ricci. This book is really long. This is the final book in Lillian Lowe's story arc within the Addicted Calloway sister series. I was really struggling with being in Lillian Lowe's head in Thrive and in this book. They are really immature, and I felt like not enough was being done to deal with Lily's issues and trying to get her help that she deserved and needed. And that's why I didn't like it. I loved like the last third. The last third was quite good and I really enjoyed it, but I just kept not wanting to pick it up because I was so exhausted by their feelings and their upset and their hurt and just constant. It was just, yeah. And this book is definitely, Thrive and Addicted After All for some reason just felt really filler and could have quite easily just been one book. But that's on that. Those are my surprising and disappointing books for 2023. Very interested to see where my reading goes next year, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tomorrow there is going to be another exciting video. It is going to be my honorable mentions, the ones that didn't make the top 10 favorite books of the year, but I thought this would be a fun video to put out to sort of show you guys what I really enjoyed, but just weren't that top tier caliber. But don't forget to comment below some of your surprises and disappointments from this year. Like and subscribe, turn those bell notifications on so you know when that video is coming out tomorrow. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.